Now here we will be discussing about the different methods of research. So it is comparatively a very small topic because some of these have already been discussed before, like qualitative methods, quantitative methods, etc. We have been or those have been discussed before. But let's start with what a research method is and what a research methodology is. What is the difference between a method and a methodology? So a research method means the various procedures, schemes, algorithms, tests, etc. that we use in a research. All these methods used in the research are termed as research methods. So whatever we are using inside a research, to get our findings or get our answers or solutions, those are actually called research methods. So it actually includes, as we said, all the procedures, even from writing a research report, that procedure, or from testing our hypothesis or testing our problems and then verifying it. All these methods and procedures are actually called research methods. Coming to research methodology, it is actually a science of study. It is how to solve a problem. It is a branch of study of how to solve a problem. It is a systematic way to solve a problem. So research methodology is actually an umbrella. It is actually a science of how to solve a problem and it is a science of studying how to solve a problem, and inside it comes research, and inside research comes the methods that we use to solve a problem, or methods that are used in the research. So that is the difference between a research method and a research methodology. Now what are the different methods of research? So we are going deep into the research. We are not talking about the big umbrella which is the methodology. We are going inside the research and then trying to find out the methods of research, which always can we conduct a research. So some of these have already been discussed. As I said, the first one is quantitative research. It is a numeral, non-descriptive, and it applies statistics and mathematics, use of numbers, etc. to conduct research. So it is actually non-descriptive. We are not actually describing about the research. We are not actually explaining about the research. We are not finding we are not digging into new facts. It is non-descriptive. It is a use of numerals and statistics, use of numbers to conduct a research. So it is an iterative process whereby the evidence is evaluated. We can correctly quantify the evidence, or we can correctly quantify the proofs. It is very conclusive. There is actually no scope for confusions, or no scope for further questions if the research is done very right, because it is actually based on quantitative data. The results are often presented in tables and charts and graphs and all, because it can be easily be plotted on graphs and charts, and it investigates the what, where and when of decision making. So we can know that what decision we have to take, when we have to take, and where we have to take, because the results that we get, the proofs that we get, the answers that we get are fairly quantitative and fairly very exact. So that is quantitative research methods. The next one is qualitative research methods. It is non-numerical and descriptive. So in quantitative it was numerical and non-descriptive, but in qualitative it is non-numerical and it is descriptive, and in quantitative we applied statistics, but here in qualitative we apply reasoning skills and use of words instead of numbers. So we apply reasoning instead of statistics, we apply words instead of numbers. Its aim is to get the meaning and the feeling of the situation, both of which cannot be quantified. That is the exact term that we use here, meaning and feeling of a situation. Meaning cannot be quantified, feelings cannot be quantified. So that is what we try to get in a qualitative research. It cannot actually be graphed. We can maybe sometimes express some of the areas into a quantitative terms, or some of the areas we can express in a numerical terms, but it cannot actually be the results cannot actually be graphed or charted. It is actually exploratory research. It is not a conclusive research. It is exploratory research. People can explore more and more of the qualitative research. It investigates the why and how of decision making. So before we investigated the what, where and when of decision making. Now we are deciding why such a thing happened and or how such a thing happened. So we are trying to explain the why and how of decision making. So these are quantitative and qualitative qualitative and quantitative research methods. The next one is historical research method. Historical research relates to past events. events or relates past events to one another or to current events. So we are trying to study about the past events and then trying to connect it to the current event. So maybe 50 years back something happened, so similar to that something happened this year also. So what is the connection? What was the decision that they took 50 years ago? Can we take that decision again? So we are trying to connect the past events to the current events. So it is a research conducted to examine past events. Maybe we are trying to connect some both events in the past. Sometimes you are trying to connect one event in the past and one event in the the present. So we are trying to do like that. We are trying to study about the past events, the past the results that are there in the past events, the analysis that are there in the past events, and trying to connect it to another event in the present. So we are basically trying to answer a question: what is the nature of the events that have happened in the past? How has that event in the past happened? What was the attitude of the work, or what was the attitude of the solution that was there in the past? So all like that. So we try to collect data. Here collection of data is done through primary source as well as secondary source. So primary source, we know we try to collect it from the people who have personally experienced it. We try to collect first hand information, or we collect it through secondary sources, which are the published books or published magazines or something like that. So here the problem is that one of the greatest challenge in doing a historical research is how much we can actually believe the data that we have got. How much can we actually put faith in the sources that we have actually got, because the event that has happened is in the past. So it is not a present situation. We cannot actually be 100% sure that the information that we get is actually accurate. So that is a problem in historical research. But basically what historical research method is, or historical method is that we try to study about an event in the past, then we try to get the answers of the event in the past, we try to study the analysis of the event in the past, and then we try to connect it to a similar event in the present. So that is what we call as a historical research. Next one is descriptive research, which we have already studied. It is the description of the state of affairs of how they are. It is actually describing or taking on something new. We are trying to actually study about something new in the descriptive research. We have already talked about it. You can refer to the video there. The last one is experimental research. Experimental research means a research conducted with a scientific approach. We are experimenting just like we experiment in a laboratory. So we are experimenting with numbers, or we are maybe experimenting with qualitative data, whatever it is. What we try to do is we try to take some variables. So one variable will be kept as it is, the other variable we try to change, and then we try to understand whether the change in this variable will actually cause a change in this. So we are trying we keep on experimenting until we get a result. We carry out experiments to discover facts. Experimental research can gather a lot of data to make us help get a better decision. So we are trying to take 2 or 3 variables. For example, in a questionnaire, each question is actually a variable, and then we try to take 2 or 3 variables from that, and then we try to take it upon on each other, and then we try to get some results based on that. So that is experimental research, just like we carry out an experiment in the lab. So these are some methods of research.